light on? You see that red light? Here we go. Right on, Dominic.
Derek.
Derek, what's the matter with you? Now people can see what goes on behind the scenes, how I yell at him before we go on the air. Then I act like he's my buddy.
Yeah.
And the morning news continues on this snowy morning, Wednesday, December 9th. I'm Jim Polito. Thanks for joining us this morning. We do have the Menards Auto Body, WTAG, Stormwatch system up and running. We've gotten all those cancellations out to you, but the word right now is just be careful. Take it nice and easy, nice and slow. If you don't have to get out now, don't get out right now. Let the crews do their work. It is going to turn to rain, and so let's do that. But we're very happy that our next guest was able to come up, and his partner joins us on the phone. He is no stranger to WTAG and our sister station, WSRS. And if you watch Charter TV 3, he's no stranger to you there. Or if you ever watch WCCA, Public Access, you've seen him there. He's a man about town, always involved in some kind of business and promoting business. John DePietro. Good morning, John.
James, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's so reminiscent of all the years I spent up here, coming up in a blizzard.
Yeah.
And watching people try to get to work.
Exactly.
When they really, as you said, they really should be staying home for an hour.
They really should be staying home. And your partner in this endeavor we're going to talk about today joins us on the phone, and she's a lot smarter. From the Round Pond Group, it's a marketing firm. Fern Nissim. Good morning, Fern. Thanks for joining us. You are smart, and of course, John, not so smart. But he was smart to team up with you. I want to talk with you both. You are premiering a new show on Charter TV 3, which I think is a fantastic concept. Could I call it a game show for entrepreneurs, for business? Could I call it? Okay.
But it's a real reality show, unlike the reality shows on network TV, which are more staged than scripted shows. But the beauty of this show, Jim, is that Fern and I figured out we need to give entrepreneurs a venue to promote their business. And what better way to do it than do it in a friendly, warm environment where they can talk about the heartaches that they went through on their way to becoming successful and starting their business. And I know Fern works a lot with small businesses as well, and we figured out that this would be a great way to allow budding businesses, budding entrepreneurs to get some exposure. When we went online.
And you're preaching to the choir. The show is going to be called Top Entrepreneur, and it's going to be on Charter TV 3. Of course, the Jordan Levy Show afternoons is on Charter TV 3 here. And we will be on soon, the WTAG Morning News. Good partners with Charter TV 3. They do a lot of great, this is great local programming. Top Entrepreneur. Give me the layout as to how it works and how someone strives to be the top entrepreneur.
Fern, why don't you take that part?
Wednesdays.
And then starting next week, 9:30 p.m.
9:30 p.m. So it's a nice little reality show, 9:30.
Right.
Now I know one of the first people on the show, and I don't want to take anything away from any of the other entrepreneurs, the contestants.
Trash man.
Is a trash man. Well, I mean, you can call him that. But Dennis has been on this show to tell his story. If people don't know, Dennis O'Connor of Superior Waste, he started his own company. Now, here's a guy who worked for Waste Management.
Yep.
The economy tanked. It turned around. Instead of crying in his beer, he said, you know what I'm going to do? I know this business. I'm going to go out and do it myself. And I have seen him out there, not only on the business end, getting the financing, putting together the marketing, but driving the trucks.
Right. In fact, the day that we taped our first show, Dennis had spent 5 hours already. We taped at 10:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Dennis came to the studio in his trash clothes on, all dirty and filthy. He had his son with him, breaking all the child labor laws, etc. However, Dennis's story is very interesting because he came from a giant corporate entity and then was on the street with a wife who was home with 4 children under 6 years old. And here he is, no income, no health care, and in an economic turmoil where financing was tougher than ever because the waste business is very capital intensive because of the trucks that he had to buy.
You've got to buy those trucks. That's basically what it is, right? And he's a fascinating story. And again, I don't want to take anything away from the other folks, but I had him on when this happened just to tell that story. And he had been for us the face of waste management for years and would come on with promotions, and he was an advertiser with waste management. But fascinating story, and I think not to use a term that's not all that acceptable, but I call it a big set of onions, what he did.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what he did, and more power to him. He's been very successful. And I think for people out there who are sitting there now saying, oh, my God, I'm going to get laid off, this is going to happen, look at what can happen. Out of lemons and vodka.
Fern had expressed some concern with Dennis's appearance because he on the show, which you'll see today, he has dungarees on.
Well, of course. That's why he drives the trucks now.
But I said, we don't have shower facilities and we don't have a makeup crew and a wardrobe outfit for him. But, Dennis O'Connor epitomizes the American entrepreneurial spirit, where he realized that he didn't want to go back into corporate America and have possibly the same thing happen.
Because he could. He wanted to be master of his own destiny.
Right.
Yeah. And a DePietro, and in this.
Right. And a Lewis, and what we should do is.
You should.
We need to say special thanks to our premier sponsors, Bay State Savings Banks, and even just to show you their interest, Bob Lewis, who's the president of the bank, was kind enough to serve as one of our guest experts that day, as Mike Ruffolo from Myrick O'Connell did as well. And they brought some great points out about business today that people need to understand, because it's not you just hang a shingle up and go in business.
Right.
There's some legal and financial concerns. And Jim, we'd like to invite you at some time in the near future when we do some other tapings to act as one of our media panelists.
Sure. Be happy to. I think it's a great idea, a great concept. I'm glad that it's local. And I think the way that you've set this up is great, would be entertaining and informative for anyone, whether you are considering going into business or not, because I think the lessons that you learn when you become an entrepreneur are lessons that you can use in all aspects of your life. It's about not being afraid. It's about risk-taking. It's about creativity. That works everywhere in your life, whether it be personal or professional.
Jim, let me just say one thing.
Yep.
Getting here today was really part of the entrepreneurial spirit, because we kind of had to take different routes. And one thing about entrepreneurs, they're faced with difficulties like we were with roads today, and they don't have the capability to just say, I'm not going to go there.
Right.
So
I'll tell you, I was a marketing and sales manager, and I used an analogy like that all the time. I would say to people when they would come into my office and explain why they couldn't get something done, and I would say, look, you're standing on the 10-yard line.
Yep.
There's 3 blockers in front of you. You can stand there and complain about them, or you can figure out a way to go around them. And I'm here to help you to go around them. So, I mean, this is great. Great lessons. I'm looking forward to the show. John did give me a copy, but this storm, I was going to watch it as I was doing prep for this morning. I had the DVD, but unfortunately with the storm, I didn't, but I'll be able to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. Top Entrepreneur is the show. John DePietro, our old friend, is the host, and his partner in this endeavor is Fern Nissim. She's from Round Pond Group, a marketing firm. It's a reality show for entrepreneurs, and it's on Charter TV 3, 10 o'clock today, but on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. All right, Fern, John, thank you so much for your time. We will.
Thank you for having us.